Hello everyone. My name is Radhika and welcome back to Teal Bytes. Today we have with us Mr. Abdullah Saleem, Group CIO of Omni Hospitals. Abdullah is an IT leader with nearly 25 years of rich and vast experience in healthcare IT. He's an expert in excellent management, planning, and technical skills and has a wise comprehension of business and technical issues in the healthcare domain. Warm welcome, Abdullah, and great to have you with us today on Teal Bytes.
Thank you very much.
So, Abdullah, today we would like to get your perspective on that due to the critical nature of patient care, healthcare is often slower to adopt newer technologies than industries like banking. Given this cautious approach, what are the main barriers to adopting generative AI in Indian healthcare? Your views, please.
Thank you very much for asking very important question. As you said that in healthcare industry is adopting the technology. In fact, generative AI kind of technology is being adopted by the healthcare is on a slower note. But I would like to tell you that there are two parts of the healthcare data repository perspective. First
Right.
is clinical data, and the second one is the non-clinical data. If
Okay.
you talk about the non-clinical perspective, the industry is adopting and has adopted the generative AI technology as far as the advancement is concerned for the organization. But the second part, the clinical perspective from the clinical area, clinical data repository perspective, the adoption of the Gen AI is not as it's supposed to be, because it has got a numberless barrier, and in those barriers I would like to emphasize on few of the important barriers why the healthcare is not ready to adopt, or is adopting slowly the Gen AI technology. And those barriers are regulation compliance issues, data privacy and security concern, integration with existing system, quality and reliability, cost and resource constraint, skill gap and training, ethical and trust issues, and the last one is the infrastructure limitations. If I'm talking in the last one, in the infrastructure limitation, it means the healthcare enabling on Gen AI technology into the rural area. So, addressing these barriers requires a coordinated effort involving regulation bodies, healthcare providers, technology developers, and of course, policymakers to ensure the generative AI can be safely and effectively integrated into Indian healthcare system. For example,
Okay.
one of the very important aspect is here the healthcare deals with the life of human being. In sense, the health and life sciences. So until unless the accuracy of the tool is not there, the healthcare always think 100 times to adopt the technology, because there is no 99.99%. If it works 100%, then only the healthcare, especially the healthcare clinical users, clinical fraternity, healthcare providers get enabled to use that applications.
Right.
Upon on top of it, healthcare application is a clinical decision support system which works between the patient and clinicians, doctors, nurses at point of care. If there is, if they and during this point of care, the decision is supposed to be taken from the system. It means it should be 100% accurate. Otherwise, there'll be a chances of clinical errors unknowingly.
True,
So
yeah. And you cannot have chances in yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we cannot take that we cannot take that chance at any given point of time.
Right.
However, as far as the non healthcare data report, as far as the non-clinical healthcare data repository is concerned, on those data repository, the Gen AI is working perfectly well, and it improved the efficiency, efficacy, and the patient experience at a large scale. I'll give you a very simple example. Very recently, we have introduced in our organization Fixie, which is nothing to do with any clinical data, any patient data. It's just a request management, request service management, which is non-clinical. So this Gen AI has helped a lot to just write one sentence or speak a sentence, and automatically this request goes to the respective department, and it get assigned to the respective users, and that services are being executed and to the patient area immediately, rather than clinical users like nurses supposed to take the request pertaining to non-clinical, maybe that housekeeping or canteen or F&B. All those requests, the clinical users should not bother about it. So that application is directly talking to the department where it works on the WhatsApp, and just say I need a coffee, say I need an additional pillow, say I need I'm shivering, say that set my bed, say that I'm getting pain. All these are based on the description of the request. It goes and sit in the respective department and get executed. And on top of it, the priority and severity is being calculated automatically. So the user who is using this application, he doesn't bother that which department, which location, from where he is putting a request. Automatically, all these are being captured automatically. So that's the area that where the Gen AI has been adopted. But clinical perspective, I just named the barrier, and I would like to emphasize a bit on detail on one line item. Regulation and compliances issues is one of the barrier. Under that, it comes strength regulations. As we know that Indian healthcare is heavily regulated, and strict guidelines for patient and security and privacy. Gen AI application must comply with these regulations, which can be complex and vary by regions. Which is very, very important. That's the reason that Gen AI is still in an evolving stage to get adopted by the clinical fraternity and by the clinical application developers. The second one under that is approval process. The obtaining approval from the regulation bodies such as the CDSCO, means Central Drug Standard Control Organization, of a new AI technologies can be time consuming, and it would be bureaucratic in its own nature. So this is the bit of detail of the barrier of talking about. Second, the data privacy and security concern. This is one of the major issue that the healthcare providers, healthcare organizations are thinking a lot, that the data is not secure because it's being exposed completely, and that data can go where it go and end, nobody knows.
Right.
So sensitive data, sensitive patient data, generative AI relies on vast amount of data, including sensitive patient information, which everybody knows. Ensure that security and confidentiality of these data is crucial, and any breaches could have serious legal and ethical implications. A couple of a year ago, everybody aware that data privacy and security perspective, some rules has been passed out in the parliament, which is a huge penalty if it is if the organization is falling into that bucket.
Right.
So the next one is the cost and resource constraint. This is another big barrier to adopt in healthcare industry as far as the generative AI adoption is concerned. The cost of implementing generative AI technology can be high, including expensive infrastructure, training, and maintenance, which may be a barrier of many healthcare providers. Then there is a limited resource. As I said, that these technologies are evolving and it is not reaching industry specific. Few industry it has reached. Few industry, for example, AI and Gen AI has been adopted by the hackers on 100%. That not case is there in the healthcare, right? So due to the regulations and data security perspective.
Right.
So as this limited resources means smaller healthcare facilities, particularly in rural area, may lack and resource and expertise to deploy and manage advanced AI technologies.
Correct. Yeah.
And the last one, I would like to, not is the last one of the other major elements of in terms of barrier is ethical and trust issue. Ethical consideration is very, very important. There are ethical concerns related to the use of AI in decision-making processes, including issue of bias, processing, issue, decision-making processes, including issues of bias. I'm emphasizing on this word, including issues of bias, fairness, and transparency in AI generative recommendation. Whether that recommendation is connected to the protocol-based like NCCN guideline, which provide the treatment protocol clinical pathway, whether it is this recommendation is accordance to that. This is very, very important, with which there is it is lacking there. Then the trust and acceptance under the ethical and trust issue. Trust and acceptance is another parameters where building trust in the AI system and healthcare professionals and patient is crucial. Misconceptions and skepticism about AI's role in healthcare can hinder adoption. Misconception, that I'll give a very simple example that suppose the big challenge is that historic data is still not there. Historic data means clinical historic data is not there with the maximum healthcare organization. And on top of it, if you're putting the Gen AI and AI to predict whether the patient is supposed to, after parking the provisional and final diagnosis, whether the patient is supposed to go to chemo management or the patient should go post-surgery chemo management. Okay. So in that case, the accuracy is still a question mark, where the doctors are using it, but doctors have given the access that they can modify that clinical pathway, clinical protocols, which is coming from the system, which is based on the NCCN guideline. A reason behind that, the recommendation of AI is supposed to be right from the beginning till end in terms of compliances with your guidelines is supposed to be intact. Your database, the new drugs which is coming into the SIMS and MIMS database, it's supposed to be intact with that, and then give a right decisions. So this is still in silos, though the Gen AI is working on silos for this pharma and drug database and healthcare where the patient is being treated. So so still it is silos, and until unless it is being coordinated in an integrated manners. So healthcare definitely will not be using completely the Gen AI technologies.
Right.
And as I
Yeah.
said, the integration, the another challenge is the barriers integration with the existing system, because every organization has spent a lot of money to have the EMR in place. But how they are going to make it, and how they are going to introduce the Gen AI, that is another challenge. And for example, many Indian healthcare facilities use outdated or legacy IT system. In integrating generative AI with these systems can be challenging and very costly.
Right.
Interoperability, I have already discussed, ensuring that the new AI technologies can be seamlessly and with existing electronic health records or electronic medical records and other healthcare IT system in a significant hurdle. That will be another significant hurdle during in deploying, mapping the generative AI to the legacy system.
Right.
That's all from my side, and I hope that I have tried to answer your questions. Uh, Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely, Abdullah. Thank you so much for your insights today and for highlighting the critical barriers to adopting Gen AI in India. It was very interesting to hear this from you, and thank you once again. And I look forward to connecting with you again. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.